Welcome, guys. This is our first 613 podcast. This is a space where we aim to interview other light workers, talk about spiritual matters. I'm Annie.
I'm Flavia.
And today we have the lovely Juli Andrada with us from Light Workers Online. And what is the other name?
Somos
Why am I like
incríveis.
this? Yes. So she is bilingual.
Yeah.
Light worker as we are. So welcome, Julie. Thank you for being our first guest.
Yay!
It's so exciting. So today we're going to talk a little bit about scripting. That's something that I just started venturing with, and Julie is a master of the whole journaling thing. She has some mentorings and things like that. So if you're interested in checking out her work, the links are below, in our description thingy here on YouTube, and you can check out all of the amazing things that she's bringing on her YouTube, her website, and her Instagram. And yeah, so today we're going to talk about scripting. How are you feeling, Julie?
Enthusiastic to talk about my favorite subject. I have my journals here to show you.
Yay! So you even brought like props. I like it. That's so cool. So let's start. People are still joining us and things like that, but it's okay. We can start just talking about it. So in your point of view, what is scripting, Julie?
So I have two different things. Like one is journaling and the other one is scripting. Mm-hmm. And often people call scripting what I would call journaling. So I'll explain how I see it.
Okay.
Because I feel like scripting is a way of journaling, a specific way of journaling. And scripting is more about like as if you were scripting a scenario, like a best case scenario for something. I use this a lot for traveling, for example, where things will happen in a certain order and I want to make sure the best case scenario happens. But it's not, even though I say it like that, that's a way for me to have my vibration aligned to the best case scenario. Mm-hmm. Because, okay, maybe I'm going too far in this, no?
No, you're doing great.
Because the thing is, when you, I created the best case scenario, so I'm vibrating the best case scenario. And let's say it was for a trip, right? For traveling. Certain moment in that scripted trip, my car breaks down. And still, it's the best case scenario for me. So I have my vibration aligned exactly perfectly that I see, even if it looks like it's something that normally you would say, oh, it's not working properly. I'm sure it is, because that's like the way that is serving me the best in that moment. So it always works.
Because you align yourself to the best frequency, you mean. So then it doesn't matter what really happens, you are always in that frequency.
Yeah, because even if it looks like it's not working, I am sure it is, right? Because even you would normally see a car breaking down as something that's not very nice, not desirable, not best case scenario. It's still, I'm certain it is. It's magic. It's like a way for me to rethink something. Maybe it's just a way for me to get aligned to the next timeline that is the best, even better case scenario for me as the trip continues, right? So it's all perfectly aligned, and that's the way I do the visioning. And it feels like magic when you're scripting, because then it unfolds in a way that the whole situation feels like magic all the time. Like, yes, that's exactly how I wrote it, or it's even better than I expected, or amazing that it worked this way. So it keeps working like it's a magical thing. That's why I love
that. So the way that you do scripting is you literally write the script of a certain event in your life, something very specific, more than just a general kind of thing.
Yes, for example, trips, it's perfect. Another thing that I did use script was the meeting, the finding of our new dog, for example. It went perfect. Exactly how I saw it. And I was so happy that I put it down, that I really took time to create that scenario. So I knew we would be attracting the exactly perfect dog for our family.
That is
And
super cool.
Such
and
a
when
great,
you're searching, yes.
such a great tool to help shift also anxiety for people who have anxiety traveling, for example. You can, set the intention to, shift your whole vibration to make something good happen and kind of release the need for control over it. That, you trust that everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a key element, because you could also be scripting and then have attachment to that outcome that you created. And that's super important. Like, key element to the whole thing is having understanding that what you're creating is your perfect vibration to the best outcome, not like exactly how you wrote it, or not like exactly how you expected. Just expect that you are aligned to the best outcome.
Yeah. And it's so magical, as you said, because as you are creating the script, it's like you are putting your own higher self into action, I feel like. So there's this huge alchemy that is occurring already because from your own human awareness, you decided to write things down as the embodiment of your higher self. So,
Yeah.
right? It feels like it's so magical because you are aligned with that frequency of your higher self, and your higher self is always wanting to create everything perfect for you. And it is always perfect, even if our human mind tries to get in the way and tell you like, oh, it isn't, so it's just amazing. And how does it differ from journaling then?
Because it would be, at least for me, it would be very boring to be scripting every day. I totally don't do that. I do like when there is special events in a day that I wish to really create the best outcome for it. But on the everyday thing, I wouldn't be scripting. It's not as fun because I have so many other techniques for journaling that will fit better. So journaling for me, it's never the same thing. I always have different techniques to reach for on different days.
Oh, okay. So that's one of my questions as well. Like, how do you keep it fresh? Because you're doing it every day. And for some people, it's so hard not to feel like it's boring. So
Yeah.
what are some things you do to keep it fresh?
It's never boring. Because it's never the same thing, and it's always like I always reach for the one that will serve me the best. And how I came to this is through practicing a lot by following whatever I would see on books or courses, or I would just keep using it, like putting into practice, and then making my own, changing it in a way that would suit me. So it was like more and more tools I was gathering by really practicing. Even if like the thing is, I created a course for 30 days in Portuguese. And what happens is, a lot of times you see an okay, today you have to write about this. And a lot of people would feel that's very annoying and you don't want to do it. And all this resistance come forth. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. This is the fun part of it. I'm just going to create something based on this prompt, right? And by doing that, you gather that tool that you can use for every time that you need that shift, because you only know how it's going to shift and what's going to shift once you put it to practice.
Yeah.
And why is it important? For example, sometimes it is important to make sure you feel safe. So I'll use the prompt of that feeling. So it's safe for me too. It's safe for me to keep doing it until you really bring that feeling forth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to be certain. Yeah. And this I know for sure. And then I write everything that I know for sure. So I am aligning to that. So you're always becoming that shift, that frequency. And that's what journaling is for me.
I love that.
It's frequency journaling.
Like, yeah. It's like you're always aligning to the frequency of what you want to create. And the actual ways that you put that into paper, that's just you expressing your creativity. So I love that point of view, in journaling, because again, I've heard a lot of people saying that, oh, it gets so boring every day. But if you take that as, it's like what you said, like me using my creativity every day and trying something new every day, it's just awesome.
And you gave a tip that is going to be especially helpful for me, because in the beginning you would take one specific technique and you would try that. So having that in mind, I think it helps keep keep things fresh, because
Yeah.
you're doing this specific thing, even though at some point you will adapt it, you are starting somewhere, being guided somewhere.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not just all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't think the chat is working.
No, it's not.
So I'm sorry, guys, the
that's
chat
right.
is not working. If you have our Facebook group, I just posted this, the link there. So if you have any questions for us, you can leave it there. You can leave it on Discord or
Yeah.
Patreon, however it is that you can find a way. If you want to, you can leave
Yeah.
your questions there. I'm sorry, I don't know why. It's not the first time it happens.
Mm.
Anyways, so
Yeah.
my next question for you, Julie, is how long have you been doing this, using this as a technique?
I found it per accident when I was shifting. I was mid-shift in focus. I used to be focused on natural nutrition, and that's what I was working with. And then everything come crashing down. Like it didn't make sense for me anymore. I was like searching. Everything changed, and then I found personal development and coaching. I was like, oh man, this exists. This is a perfect thing. Oh my God, it's perfect. So I started really going deep into personal development. And this, it was not about journaling at all. It was like a technique that had a lot of writing about your goals in different ways. And that got me to writing and to make things, to bring forth everything that you want to change, because that was the moment for me. I was really in changing everything, and I started realizing there are patterns of thinking that I wanted to change. And the way to do that, you have to start talking to your subconscious, because it's there. So if you're otherwise it's just like an old cassette tape always playing in the background. And if you don't stop it, you don't override it with whatever you decide to do, it's always there, even if you're not paying attention to it. So I started paying attention to it and listening to it, and the moments where I wanted to change, I wrote how I prefer. So in the beginning, I had a journal like with me all the time, because I was always writing.
Such dedication. I love it.
No, it's really simple, a matter of choosing to feel better.
Yeah.
So it was always like, oh, this doesn't feel good, so I will put it on paper and shift it in a way that it feels good, so I feel good again. And then when I feel the dip again, oh, this doesn't feel good again, I'm in the old pattern of thinking, so then I rewrite it. So it's just, if you know you're gonna feel good about it, like in just doing this little, taking a moment to write it.
Yeah, I use that a lot as well in this manner, and it makes the whole difference. And it goes to the point where you really just rewrite that, and you stop just reliving that same pattern, because like you said, it's like you're teaching your subconscious something different that might have been there for the last like 20 years of your life. And it's like with you taking action and you're telling yourself. So I think that the first step needs to be you choosing for yourself that, yes, I don't want to feel like crap anymore. I want something different. I deserve something different. And then every technique that you use, it just feels so great, right? So it even like doesn't feel like, oh, boring or anything like that, because you're choosing yourself. So for me, every time that I'm, writing something down, I realize I'm journaling. I'm not scripting. I have scripted, but I prefer journaling too. Like you said, like something new every day. But it's like every time that I'm doing it, I feel like, oh, this is my self-care moment. This is me paying attention to me here, because I'm choosing me today. So if that alone just gets the whole engine just spinning in your favor. So
yeah,
really love that.
And how much do you write? And usually, more than once a day, or just what time of the day do you write? How is it for you?
So in that beginning, it took me a while to not want to write so much, but in the beginning, it really was helpful to write like more than once a day, like 3 times, 4 times. I was really all the time, like just shifting. And that then became to once a day. And now this once a day, some days is like a lot, 3-5 pages. And sometimes I think I finished, but then it keeps coming in other ways, and it keeps going. Sometimes it's just a question of writing some affirmations down, and that's it for the day. So different days, different things. It depends on the day, depends on how I'm feeling. Also, because we are talking about aligning with higher vibration and best case scenarios, it's very important to bring that it's not about like dismissing your feelings.
Mhm.
It's totally the opposite. It's about sitting with your feelings and then going from there, because your feelings are there to serve you. So it's like a gift, right? So you receive it, and there's like a lot on receiving too, because often you would start working with affirmations, and it's like you're pushing your real emotions under the carpet, and then this carpet of positive affirmation gets on top, and you keep focusing on it because you don't want to feel bad, you don't want to connect to that emotion, but that means it's always there now because you just put something on top, right?
So how do you write about these things that you don't like feeling but you want to change? How would you phrase it?
First, stream of consciousness writing. That means you just write. So you put everything that you're thinking and feeling down. And that's why I brought the journals, because so to show that I have two for it different. This is the journal like where best case scenarios are written. And this is the journal where it's like very recycled paper, so I can burn after. And it's very thin, so I can hide easy, because this is stuff that you don't want to have other people read it. And you don't want to even read it afterwards yourself either. I just keep it so I can use the techniques. But in that one, in the stream of consciousness one, is where everything comes out. You put everything, you sit with your emotion.
Okay.
So you receive it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, it's not pretty, it's like old things and things that you actually don't want. You're taking it out and looking at it. So that's a way to, first thing you have to do is take it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So you take it out and you look at it. Okay, while you're writing it, you already start feeling the space that it created.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the time when you start, okay, it's not there anymore, because now I see it. Now I'm sitting, I sat with it. Now it's flowing. And when it's flowing, you keep asking it questions like, okay, how can I see it better? How is this serving me?
Okay.
And you don't even have to ask those questions, because this is going to happen. You start looking at it different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm letting this out. Oh, this doesn't serve me anymore. That's why it's coming up. And then when the shifts up start happening, that's when you shift also the way you're writing. So now I choose, what do you choose instead? Now I choose to let this go, for example. I choose to see this different. I choose to allow this to flow in a way that now it serves me through going forward from this. I don't have to carry this anymore. It's done. So I write these things down too. It is done. I'm letting it go. It has served you now. I'm very thankful. Also, always thank the emotion, and then write the new story. And this feels so good when it's done. It's like, of course, it's very normal to have a resistance to it, because you don't want to have to sit with this, and you just want to, say some good affirmations and get going. But it feels really good once you like take the time to. And it can be really fast too. And then after a while, this shift can be much faster. Right? Sometimes you don't even have to put it all down. You just say like, oh, I'm aware that this is happening, but I'm done with this and I'm choosing different. And then you see it, but you just let it go real fast. It depends on how often you've been doing it and how you are, how is this serving you?
It's like you are rewiring your emotions, your thoughts, and your body, everything to work in your favor instead of just going with whatever flow it is. And sometimes the flow is not taking you to the place that you want to go. So I feel like this is like you being sovereign and telling yourself. And it's such a simple, like I said, technique, like everyone can get a piece of paper and just write it down. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. I think that that's something that I see a lot, like people thinking, but how exactly should I write, or what, or how? And it's nice to go and look for this information. There's a lot of information like out there, like you said, with the books, but I feel like it's also important for you to find your own technique and the thing that really works for you, because otherwise you're just trying to, like you're all over the place. So But again,
Yeah.
it comes with you practicing it. I feel like day after day, you're gonna be like, okay, so this isn't working, and I need to find something new. So then you just keep at it, you know.
And
yeah.
So you can follow the flow.
Because through having this course running of we did it like 3-4 years and like many times a year, so I would see people going through the 30 days, and it was very there was a thing of the people who were very happy about it, and they got all kinds of results, and they feel the huge shift and all kinds of things they could report from doing it, were the people who were following, doing the every day. Because then there is this resistance of you don't want to do it because you have this old programming that feels kind of comfortable somehow, even though you're not aware of it. You really have to make the decision to override it.
It's like some days, like your ego is gonna tell you, oh, but we don't need this, or this isn't right for us, you know, or whatever it is. So finding that discernment, I feel like, is really important, and that's why I choose to see like this is my self-care moment. You know, this is me paying attention to me and being, you know, being present and just trying to do that at least once a day. It feels just like it's like you are rewriting it. Otherwise, there are some programmings that are gonna tell you, you know what, let's not do this because it's going to change.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the difference between typing and handwriting for journaling?
Oh, there's a whole thing about it, how it's connected to your heart, for example, and there's a part of your brain that expresses through the way you write, and there's points that you press when you're writing, and there is the part where you are manifesting it. But it's good to try. Like I used to try a little, see how it will, and still when I have some things that I want to transform to something else that I can use as content, for example, I will write it in that way and let it flow in that way until it shifts to content, and that's much easier if it's already on the computer. But it's a totally different energy too. It's a different process, so it's good to do both and see how it feels, but it's much more like powerful to have it on paper.
I think so too. It feels different. It feels like you are like actually doing something, because it's I can't explain why, but it feels completely different. It's like automatic writing. I think you should start with pen on paper, and then you do the whole more technological thing, you know, because it's like your brain understands it in a different way with the connection. And I also wanted to ask you about some stories, you know, some manifestation stories from journaling and scripting. If you have some of your own, and if you have some of other people, it's always fun.
Yeah, the fun, it always feels like it's magic. Like I said, like the fun part is every day. It's every time that you do it. If you put, also it's fun if you're starting it. The very cool tip is to add little fun things, like ask to see a yellow butterfly that day to confirm something, or ask to receive candy or something, like whatever. It's like a little thing that you want to put it there just to play, just to see it confirming for yourself that you put that intention in, you vibrate with this, and then it comes like easily because it's little things. So that's fun to start playing with this. So this happens all the time. So like I said, it's always working. I have like one of my favorite examples is where we were visualizing the way that we found our house in Brazil. We rent a house there since 2012. And we visualized exactly how it is, exactly all the details and everything. Only the only time that we took, and when I say it's me and my husband.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Because we didn't take time to do that before. The only time we did it, okay, now we know what we want. So we start calling it, both of us. This is very powerful too, to call it with someone else. And it gets a lot easier to do that. Call it with someone else, or just start speaking it, or just set your intention. You don't have to write it. Why? Because you've been doing this so long that it's your mind already, it's kind of like I can see it It's it comes effortlessly. The
Yeah.
way I say, like affirmations flow, the way I'm setting the image, the way that I'm setting my vibration to receive it. That's a big thing too. Learning how to receive.
Yes.
That's a big thing.
That's
So in the
that's
beginning,
big.
yeah. When you start doing it, I did a lot of work on it too.
Yeah.
Receiving.
Me too. Like feeling safe to receive the things that you want, right? And feeling deserving of the things that you want. Because otherwise, there is always a part of you that is kind of trying to not let you, right? And your vibration can fully get there. Even though they are happening, you might not be like, oh, this is here. I don't know.
Yeah, you make it too big, or you have to deserve it, or you have all these stories
Yeah.
of why it cannot happen now. So you start noticing also how you receive a compliment, how you receive the little things, and start working on the receiving. And I often say, like, it's not really about law of attraction or understanding law of attraction, but it's more about understanding how to stop blocking it.
Yeah.
How to stop putting, you block it by putting all these expectations on materialization, like manifesting. Okay, I wrote it, now where is it, or
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it. So it is about writing exactly for the reason of feeling it. If you wrote it in a way that you're already feeling it, it worked. You've done it. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
that's the part that is work. The rest
Yeah.
is just like your higher self, the universe, source, whatever you want to see it, just throwing it in your way, and it's gonna come, and it's gonna come exactly as it's supposed to, would say it, the perfect way for you, and the happiest and most joyful. But I feel like the power in this practice is every day you choose joy, you choose ease, you choose, so you will see that playing out in your life in the most simple things, and then in the huge big things as well. And I feel like it's important to be aware that yes, we have an idea of process, we have an idea of time on earth. So how can we see this playing out right now, and choosing to also empower the tiny little things? Because I love to do that. It's like I write like tiny little things down, and then you just see it in your life and go like, oh my God, see, I manifested that. So every time you're validated, you believe that the big thing is coming as well. So
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So tell us about your project, how people can find you, and things like that.
The best way to find out what I'm doing is on Instagram. I've been opening now spots for coaching, and the coaching, how I do it is I help you do the affirmation based on what we talked about, and I give you the prompts for you to get into the mind shift of your vibration that is aligned to what we talked about. So it's like perfect for you. So that's coming up soon. Also, quantum healing is coming up.
Yay!
On nice stuff. And journaling course that I'm translating. Oh, also I wanted to say, but I don't think we have time.
We
Because
have
I used
time.
to do the journaling very different, that journaling course that I did.
Uh-huh.
And it's amazing and I love it. But there was also a lot of things that I was trying out. There was a lot of trying out of how does that feel? And this is, I think it's a very good tip also for who is starting. Try out how these things feel, even just to see how, like, if you like it or not. For example, I would try out how does it feel to journal about traveling first class. I didn't know. I thought like something, it was too silly and like, let's not. But I started really putting it there. And just to see how it feels.
Yeah.
Right? Things
Why
like
not?
that, like very much, if it feels very much out there for you,
Mm-hmm.
see how that feels.
I love
Just
it.
it doesn't have to happen. You just have to feel how it feels.
I love it. Awesome.
Yes.
So, guys, let us know how you like this conversation. We would love to have you here again, Julie, of course.
Yes.
And let us know what you would like for us to discuss next time about journaling and scripting and using these manifestation techniques. And thank you so much, Julie, for being our first. Yay!
Yay.
Our first
Thank
yay.
you.
First guest.
Our
Thank
first
you.
guest
Yeah.
here in our podcast.
Yeah.
We love you.
The links for Julie are in the description below, both for her Instagram and website. You can also go to her YouTube channel under the
Yep.
same name, and there are many awesome tips there and videos. And we are also having a twin flame ceremony in about 7 minutes.
Yep.
So if you want to join, click the link in the description and come join us. There's still time.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you,
Awesome.
Julie.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Lovely to have you